So back to the questions. How bad can America get? How bad will America get? Regarding America's economy, firstly, it's important to grasp that money is just a number with an opinion of value attached to it. And that opinion is constantly changing. America has experienced some very bad times when the opinion of its currency was very negative. For example, just research the continental dollar. At other times, the colonists used currency of which people had a very favorable opinion. In part 1 of this video series, I pointed out how in 1723, a young Ben Franklin paid a penny for a loaf of bread. A penny is worth nothing today, and the average loaf of bread is priced in the range of between 200 and 600 pennies per loaf. If we compared penny for penny, that's a 200 to 600-fold increase from then till now. Could you imagine going down to your local market and purchasing 200 loaves of bread for $2 or 200 pennies? Really, though, other factors have to be accounted for, and a 1723 penny contrasted to a 2014 penny is not really a fair comparison. So as nearly as I can figure from the colonial records, which are very sparse, and I analyzed these, and as near as I can figure, the cost of bread has increased 400% from then till now. From then when Ben Franklin made his purchase for a penny a loaf. So the lesson here is that the value of money doesn't remain constant. And this is a very important concept to understand. Money is just a number with an opinion of value attached to it. That's why the U.S. monetary system has been and can be again revalued, and the national debt rendered as unimportant. A total economic reset can take place because the value of money is, again, nothing more than a subjective opinion. I'm not implying that a total reset would be without acute pain. No, on the contrary. Yes, radically changing the perceived value of the U.S. dollar would subject the masses to untold misery. So, how bad can America get? How bad will America get? It will likely get so bad that the currency shall have to be revalued. Let's examine some other factors. And to help answer that question, please consider a quote. And it's been attributed to Thomas Jefferson. I'll scroll down and I'll highlight it. I hope you can see it. The amount of tyranny you get is the exact amount you put up with. So supposedly Thomas Jefferson made that statement. Whether he did or not, it is axiomatic. It is a very true statement. And I can extrapolate this axiom by also saying the amount of banking fraud you get is the exact amount you put up with. The amount of war carried on by your country is the exact amount you put up with. The amount of political and judicial corruption you get is the exact amount you shall put up with. The amount of gun control you get is the exact amount you put up with. The amount of extortionate taxation you get is the exact amount you put up with. The amount of government you get is the exact amount you put up with. Thus, the question logically becomes, how much will the average American put up with, and how much will she actually embrace? So again, I ask you, how bad will America get? How bad can America get? History shows us that people will put up with an extraordinary amount of governmental corruption and control. The American people as a whole are proving themselves no different than any other people throughout history. Americans can and will probably clamor for a daddy-like dictator before the entire country collapses into tyranny. And that entire progress, frankly, could take years. I mean, I'm not saying that it couldn't happen suddenly. We couldn't experience a waterfall event, and like many have been predicting for the last 5 or 6 years now, that this is the year that America finally collapses into total chaos. I mean, it is possible for the boat to capsize. But let's not forget that history also proves that the collapse of a superpower is more often than not similar to a slow motion event, which often takes not just years but generations. Think of America's history and future like this. Americans past and present are riding in a boat called America. And as passengers, America passes through the stream of time. And the boat travels through both calm, peaceful water and rough, turbulent water, including a few small, dangerous waterfalls which cause the boat to almost capsize. Until the boat ride finally ends when the boat plunges over a massive waterfall and is smashed into pieces on the rocks below. And folks, a massive waterfall event is what ends empires, not just going over a little waterfall like we did in the 70s. Or this may be another little waterfall. Could be the big one. So, even going over the big waterfall can be perceived by the masses as a slow motion event, right on up until the boat is actually smashed. This type of event is what can and will end the American empire. However, America seems to still be buoyant enough to withstand passing through some turbulent water. And we should be careful about prematurely jumping ship into a radical prepping lifestyle, which we may later regret. Before you go whole hog into preparing for the end of the world, remember that back in the 70s, America went over a small waterfall. And many good people were convinced that Jimmy Carter was going to be the captain of the ship as it experienced a final cascading event. Then, lo and behold, Ronald Reagan took over and the sovereign debt was used to keep the boat floating. The sovereign debt was then measured in billions. Now it is measured in trillions. And before America goes over a massive waterfall, the debt could be measured in much larger numbers, just like I showed you in the previous video. Yes, the debt could be canceled and the entire system reset. So the wise prepper is preparing for the possibility of a long boat ride through some whitewater rapids. The wise prepper knows that the American boat could capsize at any moment. However, he is not betting the farm or his entire future on it. The wise prepper is hedged, and he's also preparing for America to slowly descend into becoming a third world country, whereupon survival depends not on some Mad Max event, but on who can go the distance in a collectivist America with a centrally planned economy that vacillates from deflation to inflation to stagflation and back again. Yes, we need preppers who are preparing for the worst, but we also need preppers who don't ruin their lives by overshooting. So, I've noticed many good preppers, some of which have left the good city jobs only to become dirt farmers because they think the end of the world is right around the corner. I'm just using this as an example. Now, farming, among other things, just happens to be in my area of expertise. Recently, I've witnessed a number of families who regretted leaving well-paying city jobs in order to relocate themselves so they could become dirt farmers, basically. Now, we farmers have a saying. It's called farming yourself into bankruptcy. And Uncle Prepper is going to extend that saying right now to you preppers. Don't farm or in any way prep yourself into bankruptcy. In closing, I'm not trying to discourage hardcore prepping or the belief that America is on the verge of collapse. In fact, in future videos, I shall make the case for hardcore prepping and offer advice on the subject derived from actual experience. Best of luck to you, and until next time, this is Uncle Prepper signing off from the bunker.